I like this new format that YouTube does where it gives you like this 3 second delay before the live happens so people can fix themselves up. I like that. Uh, what I should have done during a delay was smooth over my camera lens. I'm about to do that right now since no one's currently looking. Alrighty. All right. Okay, man. About to just gorged on some food. Sorry, guys, I haven't been as active the past week. Um, it start, I've been a little busy and at the same time a little antsy about coming live because of a stalker. Unfortunately, I realize that's exactly what this person wants to do. He's a troll who has verged beyond trolling to actually stalking at this point. He's a stalker. Uh, and until YouTube gives me the tools I can to permanently block him, then, you know, I'm probably going to see him once more, but I'm not going to keep crashing out because that's exactly what he wants to do. It's sort of like a stochastic terrorism. So he'll keep coming to the platform to harass, hoping it will stymie whatever I want to talk about. So we're going to nip that in the bud by just completely ignoring them. If you don't feed a fire, it won't grow. So hopefully my moderators will be here shortly. But this is Ask Me Anything Tuesday. When I say ask me anything, I do mean that it has to be appropriate and family friendly talk. So obviously, if you're asking something that's inappropriate, it's not gonna fly. I'm not gonna answer it. But and that should be obvious. But for some people, I have to actually explain that when I say ask me anything Tuesday or whatever day I do ask me anything day, is always within ask me anything is always within reason, of course. So we'll see. But I like answering good questions. Um, there are some teachers that say there's no such thing as a bad question. That is a lie. Well, I won't say it's a lie, but that's patently false. There are definitely some bad questions. But aside from that, you know, guys, you can ask me, questions. I ended the my topic on last week that I was doing correctly politically incorrect. I stopped doing that just because too many of those videos were getting demonetized, just like the geopolitics topic that I had done 2 weeks prior. A lot of that was touchy and may not be might not have been advertiser friendly. So I stopped the geopolitics discussion, and then last week I stopped the correctly politically incorrect topics. So we're moving on. I'm gonna try to do like just some happy-go-lucky stuff for the next week. I think I'm gonna go back to my roots, which is philosophy type stuff. Like whenever you know I can't think of something else to talk about, I can always go back to either current events or to talking about philosophy, but not in a dry, crusty way. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna put on some fun music as well. Although I have to play it lowly so it doesn't get me copyrighted for the music. But I'll leave it just enough that people can hear it. Or at least I hope they can. Um, so I don't know. Do I want to go with anime music or let's see? And why can I see my chat room? I see a bunch of people. Well, it keeps wavering. So um, and yes, I'm checking my chat filter, checking. uh, Switch from top messages to all messages. Looking at community moderation. Um, so it looks like everything is firing on all pistols here. And, and if I don't get any communication in the chat room, there's always there's always um there's always up free to me to end the excuse me, end the live stream. But uh what I can do is what I can do is so if I continue having problems with this stalker, I will the change the way people can participate. Um, so yeah, I didn't notice this participant mode before, so this will allow me to change how people interact with me, that I can keep things appropriate, because I was kind of miffed with YouTube and left them a bad. They asked me to do a survey for content creators, and I kind of told them I was disappointed in how they let us handle the uh, controls with users. But now, and I see that part of that's on me, because I could just switch my participant mode to a different way. So if I so now what I can do is, if I do have issues with someone, I'll just switch it to only people who actually are subscribed to me and have been following me for a set amount of time will be able to participate. And I have no problem with that. And to keep from spamming, I can put it on a time delay. So if someone tries to spam the chat room, I can simply if someone tries to spam the chat room, I can simply put it on a time delay, so they can't flood the chat room with silly messages. So good. So I do have more controls. So thank you, YouTube. Didn't see those. I didn't see those tools earlier. Now I have, so good stuff. I know how to get things back under control. The only the only comment I see so far is a Christian verse, which is cool or whatever, but that's not relevant. and it's not really a question either. Um, I said I was gonna get to music, so let me do that. Uh, I'm like, did Mia Khalifa have her own music video? She's branched out into everything, or attempted to. Hilarious. Cat says hello. What's up, Cat? So, Cat, I saw some stuff on here now. I didn't realize there was more controls on here than I looked at previously. So I can change it now. Where so if that guy comes in bothering me now, I can switch the participation mode to to something where he won't be able to participate. It'll only be for like people who have followed me for a substantive amount of time, so that random people can't just jump in, which is a great thing to have, especially late at night. Since you're usually flooded with a bunch of trolls, it'll definitely be helpful if the only people who can participate are folks who've actually followed me for a long amount of time. That'll help things. And there's a time delay between messages I can do too, so that can keep people from spamming the chat room too. So that'll be really helpful. So now I feel better because I had kind of talked down upon YouTube. Yeah, I think it was yesterday when they helped when they wanted me to do some content creator survey. Cassius just got home, went on a long walk with a friend, and then coffee after. That's cool. Um, she said, "Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. So, because yeah, if I had looked at that stuff more carefully, I would have known that I had those abilities. But yeah, and I'll definitely use that now from now on, Cat. Like if I'm doing it late at night, so it's getting close to midnight here. So as soon as I see trolley type of stuff going on, I must go to the community moderation and fix it so that I don't have to deal with them. Oh, and I'm moving on from the correctly politically incorrect topic as well. That too many of those were getting demonetized, just like the geopolitics stuff. So I'm just gonna move on and do like some like happier stuff, like dip back. I'm gonna dip back into my nerdy stuff. That's usually stuff that is pretty well monetized. Luckily, the last video uh, was monetized. I ended up watching the whole. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I let the whole thing play yesterday, which was about 5 hours, and it was flooded with advertisements, which is great. She's she says, "How have you been?" I've been cool. Like I said, I was starting to be antsy about coming back on because of the trolls, but it's all good. Like I said, from now on, I know how to do my community moderation, so I can not have to deal with that guy. Because at this point, he's gone beyond a troll to being a stalker. Like seriously, like whatever his issue is he, that he wants me to give him an apology for something I said to him, which I don't even remember. But I know that anytime I've cooked someone on here, it's always been their fault because I'm not going to cook someone just for viewing and asking me a question. The person was an asshole, so and he kept coming back under multiple usernames. So it shows he's definitely mentally ill. And I don't give into terrorism, so not gonna give into people who are you know retarded or mentally ill. So I already see a few problematic things on here, which I'm ignoring. If it gets a problem, I'll just, hey Agatha, what's up? She said, hi sir, just checking in. You don't have to call me sir. Like we're. I mean, it's cool. Like if I'm in the Philippines, I'm just used to it. Like they're gonna call me sir regardless or Po. Hello, Paul. Yeah, Paul. Like that's they're just very polite like that. Like especially in Asian culture. Oh, she says I respect you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I told you I was gonna come back on because yesterday I said I would be on and I didn't, just because you know I was regretting dealing with the stalker, but I can deal with it now. Ironically, the last time that stalker was here, he kept leaving me a ton of money. Like he, the, the retard left me like two like I think he gave me like two supers. He gave me two supers and like 50 gems. So I'm like, okay. So uh, TTD says, yo, I'm back. He said, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, so like I said, I know how to deal with it now, so I can switch it to switch the no, excuse me, switch it in the participation mode so only subscribers can actually leave comments. That way, I don't have to deal with it anymore. Oh, let me turn on the music for you guys. I'm sorry, I was getting side you call it um I don't know. Do we want lo-fi anime music? I can't play like the like copyrighted stuff with like with like lyrics in it. So that's why I'm saying like lo-fi or something non-lyrical. Because obviously, if I play anything with lyrics in it, it will be copyrighted. Be nice if I could actually speak to an artist and be like, I guess as I reported him to YouTube. Thank you, I appreciate it. I reported him to several others did, and like I said, he plays loosely with the fact that he can use a VPN and use multiple devices and just keep cloning different usernames, ad infinitum. But TTV says, sorry, I couldn't stay for long tonight. I have to go to bed because I got school tomorrow. There's also jazz too. But yeah, bye. Talk to you later. um, um, where's my music? I don't want to keep playing the same anime um, mix. Played all the same ones all over. Oh, I haven't. I don't think I've played this one. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna try this one. Best anime song playlist. Well, they all say a best. So again, this is Ask Me Anything Tuesdays. Forgot for you guys if you missed that. Um, I'm I'm debating on, like I said, what my next topics will be for this week. I'm gonna try to keep things lighthearted though. I'm thinking of doing some going back to philosophy, which is my roots. Going back to some philosophy topics, some that I've already done before, some that I haven't. Um, the ones that I have done before, I'm gonna touch on them in a different way. Pause. um, so I think I'll do that. Maybe talk about some geeky stuff as well. What's your take on the fire in LA? Um, I think it was inevitable. Like, you know, there was a clip released from Joe Rogan from like 2 years ago or something like that, showing that he has spoken to a LA firefighter who said it's just a matter of time before a wildfire sweeps through LA. He said, and there's nothing they'll be able to do to stop it. He said, once he said, if you get a strong enough wind, and I mean that's what we've seen. Like the wind has swept that fire through the whole city. We even saw like a fire tornado. I'm like, damn, a fire tornado? All you need are the sharks. I should laugh. That's not funny, but yeah, you have a sharknado on your hands. The sharks from the Pacific. I think it's inevitable because of the 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 land the land on which LA resides has always been risky, like the Palisades. Um, and I'm sorry, you have some DEI fire chief. Like, I'm sorry, you can call me sexist or whatever, but I don't want a female firefighter. If I'm in a burning house and I'm I can't get I can't get out of I'm trapped in a room. Uh, some hundred some 130 pound 5'5" woman is not going to break down that door to save me. Is it climate change? Well, yeah, it's partly climate change. I mean, I think we all owe Al Gore a huge apology from 26 years ago. He, in his movie An Inconvenient Truth, he outlined the fact that as we deal with global warming, aka climate change, I think it is a better term to call it climate change than just global warming, because the thing is the global warming changes changes the weather conditions all across the world, ergo climate change. And he predicted with the global warming at the time that it's going to produce more natural disasters. We see more natural disasters. We see more floods. We see more wildfires. We see more atmospheric conditions causing like typhoons and tornadoes and hurricanes. Um, Along the Pacific Rim of Fire, uh, like in Southeast Asia and places like that. Um, we're going to see like more volcanic activity, which will lead to more earthquakes and destruction. Um, I mean, there's an active tornado not too far from where we live in the Philippines. So, Catherine Jesus, climate change is crap. Well, climate change is a fact. I mean, and we know that this climate change is mostly per- man produced. It's not crap when you have literally climate scientists telling you this is what's going on. Cat, you're gonna be one of those people or that movie Don't Look Up. Like, I'm not looking up. So I'm joking with you, but no, no, seriously, like it's a real thing. The problem is that you have these climate activists who are trying to lay the blame on the wrong people. Like as of just yesterday, I think it was some climate. I should really say they're eco terrorists. Yeah, well, denying a fact doesn't change as a fact. I'm gonna try. I mean, if you're a climate change denier, the problem is you have you have people on one side who are denying reality, then you have these other people who are eco terrorists who think hurting hurting other people is going to change things. Both of them are wrong. Both of them are wrong. I mean, I've known since my middle school days that we were facing global warming in 1990 and 1989, like when we talked about this back in middle school when I was in the seventh grade. But no, that was junior high because I was in Chicago. But anyway, it, we've known since 1989, and the fact of the matter is not all down to perception. Maybe to you, But here's the thing: when the Pentagon has to make up protocols for how to deal with climate change, it is a real thing. The reason they have to treat it as reality and not just perception or politics is because climate change causes damage in real time. Climate change will make it that some nations become politically unstable. So the Defense Department doesn't have time to deal with people denying reality because they have to deal with things as they actually are, because we know that with climate change is going to cause political instability in a lot of third world countries. There's going to be a lot of places dealing with more um, with damage due to floods, erosions, loss of natural resources, um, food shortages and stuff like that. It's going to cause a refugee problem. We see a few Pacific islands already losing huge landmass due to erosion from the rising sea levels. Like there's, I forgot what Pacific island right now has almost is becoming awfully close to being fully submerged within the next several years. Indonesia, a large nation of you know many islands, is moving their capital city of Jakarta over to Java. One of the reasons is because Java is a larger population now than Jakarta, but the other reason is because Jakarta is sub sea level, and they fear that it will flood as the continuing erosion and rise in sea levels. We see it affecting the Arctic. We see it. We've seen huge masses of of Antarctic uh, shells drop into the ocean, like land masses large enough to be a country. That's not good. I mean, just think about like when if you had like I don't know, like a soda or a cup of coffee or whatever, and you keep dropping ice in it, it's going to eventually spill over, right? So eh, denying it's not going to change the facts on the ground, because, like I said, the Pentagon has to deal with the fact that climate change is causing political instability across the world. We're going to see more as there's more natural disasters. Also, another problem with climate change is it rises the level of um, of disease and pestilence. Like I said, all of this was predicted by Al Gore back in his movie Inconvenient Truth 25 years ago. So we owe OVP Al Gore an apology. He said on South Park, I'm serial. I'm serious. If you never watch South Park, you would get it. But anyway, climate change is a fact. Like I said, the problem is you have extremists on both sides. You have people who just deny that it's even happening. Then you have people on the other side who are waging like eco terrorism on folks, like stopping traffic, destroying historical sites. Like I was just about to mention, just a few days ago, some climate change activists destroyed Charles Darwin's uh, 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 funeral um, great grave site. Like, first of all, why would you trash the, the founder of modern biology? Like, clearly he would have believed. Clearly he would have believed in climate change, and on top of that, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what does he have to do with it? The main producers of of the CO2 causing global warming and climate change aren't in the West. It's China. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. it's the big red country in the Far East. But none of these none of these little none of these little re, none of these little retarded activists are going to go to the places where they're doing the most eco damage and do anything because they know they would get their asses locked up or worse. So, but yeah, it's a huge problem. So getting back to the fires in LA, which is Agatha's original question, yeah. So part of it, yes, is going to be due to climate change because, again, with climate change, there's going to be more wildfires. This is why I've been telling people for a year to have a bug out bag because FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has told people, hey, get bug out bags, guys, because you never know when you might have to bug out due to natural disasters or civil unrest. And sometimes the natural disasters can precipitate civil unrest. KG say done says hi. What's up? Um, so anyway, uh, people should have like a bug out bag. If you can, they call them by different things: bug out bag, go bag, 72-hour emergency bag, whatever. You should prepare one. Also, you might have to bug in, just like you might have to bug out. You might have to bug in. So I haven't prepared bug ins yet because well, this isn't my permanent home, so it doesn't make sense. But in my permanent home in the Philippines, I plan on doing so. For bugging in, you should probably have a backup generator, probably a solar. It's probably a solar is probably better than a than a gasoline generator, but whichever one you can get a hold of. Although the gasoline generators can be potentially toxic in your home, depending on what type of home you have. So maybe a solar generator is better. If you don't, if you live in an apartment, then it's not so much you can do as far as bugging in anyway, really. But if you have your own home, then you should definitely have stuff to bug in. Like you should have water storage, emergency food rations, backup generator, um, potential weapons and munition in case you have to defend the castle. Um, and I mean, and you can become more intricate with it too. But that's the basic thing. Basically, have water storage, um, water, food, some sort of backup generator, and weapons. And then, like I said, if you have to, you need to have a bug out bag because natural disasters are on the rise because of climate change, like in LA. But again, it's not just due to climate change, which is the LA, because again it becomes political. You have people on the left just saying this is all just due to climate change, where everyone is on the right, everyone on the political right is saying this is because of the this is because of the this is because of bad leadership. It's both. It's both. I mean, I like I said, when you have a DEI fire chief, that doesn't help. Like I said, I don't want a female firefighter when I'm locked when I'm if I'm stuck in a burning building. Some 130-pound 5'5" woman isn't going to be able to break down the door, no matter how hard she tries. And Agatha or Kat, can you give me a check on this on that avatar, please, just to be sure. So, in any case, like I said, when you look at the landscape of LA before it was built upon, it like, for instance, the Palisades. It was shown that that was a problematic place to build upon, but you know, humans have a have a nasty habit of building upon places that aren't the best. The Avid, okay, so he's safe, cat. Um, can you guys hear the anime music in the background too? Give you a quick look see. Hmm. It says it looks legit. Thanks, cat. I'm still skeptical, but I'll play along for now. Donations have they been going up? They're about the same. Um, more, more people will support your channel. The more people you have following your channel, so just a process of growing it. So it's things that I need to do to grow the channel. So that's indicative of me to do so. Oh, okay. It's real channel. Thank you. Yeah, it's up to me to grow the channel more through stuff I have to do. Like I need to start doing some more long form videos, which I want to do. Uh, Definitely want to make some more travel content, which I haven't made in a long time. And even speaking of which, I need to hit the wife on about hit the wife up on that. Share. I'm not sure what you mean. But anyway, where is she? She's at work right now, but she's. I don't want to say because, like I said, I like like Miss Needle say, I overshare way too much information, so I would have say on here where she is. I give way too much information to people on here who are mentally unstable and don't have don't have content creators' best interests in heart. So I don't want to say specifically where she is anymore. I've said it way too many times. So I'll just say right now she's at work where we have our place. But I've given trolls way too much information about me. She's at work. It's fine. I was more so asking why isn't she on here now? Yeah, she's at work, so she can't. If she's working from home, she can moderate, but when she's at the office, she can't do that. But no, I'm supposed to be dropping her vacation video from several months ago. I did like some little mini shorts on her vacation, but she was supposed to give me a compilation of her whole vacation, so I could drop it on here, so I could show people because people should see more areas than just the touristy parts of where we live. KG says could share your things like your stream to other people. I mean, yeah, people can always share my videos. Like I said, I always say, like, subscribe and share. Definitely, it definitely doesn't hurt to share my videos with other people. Definitely. So, where's the next destination you would like to go? Again, I never tell anyone for operational security. I never tell people where I'm going until after I've gone. It's not safe. That's even before I did content creation. Like I just know from my time in the army, I don't tell people where I'm going until after I've been there. It's not safe. It's got too many because you got too many haters. Like not like but you never like being my experiences. Some of the places I work, you never know who can be envious of you being able to do things they can't do. So where would I like to go? Um, Most of the places I wanted to go, I have, except for a few places in Asia that I haven't gone, and a few places in Europe I haven't gone. But they're all like on my list for this year. That's why I don't want to mention them specifically. But places in Asia and Europe that I haven't gone to yet. Like I've been like the places I've been to the places I wanted to go to the most. Like I've been to Bangkok. I've been to Tokyo. I plan on and I've been to Bali. So I plan on returning to those places. Then I've been to unexpected places that I didn't know were really cool, like Taipei and um, Manila and many other places. Um, Definitely want to go back to Europe. Hopefully, I can see Miss Needle when I'm there. She said she'll be happy to give me and the missus a she'll be happy, to hang out with us as a tour guide. If I could put a pin in the map, where would it be? In East Asia? Like I said, like my fondness for Asian culture and Asian women is what makes me want to be there. Like that's pretty much the only place I'm really interested in. I mean, not the only place, but that's the place I'm most interested in overseas. I like Asian culture, and I prefer Asian women. I think they are the most beautiful women in the world. So no one else compares. Some brothers prefer Latin America. Latin America is a shithole to me for the most part, and not that I won't go, but not definitely not on my list. And my problem is it's still in the same hemisphere. I want to be somewhere where I actually have to leave, like I have to actually cross an ocean. I guess I'm going to UK on Friday for a conference. Oh, so you're finally going? Okay. So you had to get that new ETA visa to get to to be able to be permitted to go there. UK is definitely not definitely not on my bucket list. I wouldn't mind going, but it's definitely not on my bucket list. To me, the UK is just it's just it's just a a bigger version of Boston. So if take that for what people can take that for what they will, but for the most part, I just see UK as a very large Boston, which for me is not a good thing, by the way. But for some people, they might like that. But no, the food seems shitty. They are they have no First Amendment protections, so you have to abide in people's delusions that they can just pretend that they are something that they aren't. Um, uh, and it's like then you have like feminism on steroids. So there's nothing really attractive to me about the UK. Like at least back in the day, I thought they were smart, and now I even found out that's not even true. So that was the last thing. It was like, okay, well at least they are rather smart, but that's actually not true. Kat says I like to go to the US at some point. I'm surprised you haven't. Um, for someone from Australia, it shouldn't be that hard either. Um, Depending on where you want to go, of course. Yeah, like if you have a specific part of the US you want to go. Agnes says I didn't want to go, but got stuck, especially since that visa. I mean, I would never begrudge a job where I have to travel. That's really cool. So that would I would enjoy just for the fact that it's I get to travel internationally for work. That's pretty cool. Cass has been to the UK and Europe, spent 12 months there. Yeah. It's yeah the place. So when I was saying I want to go to some places in Europe, they're all in on the continental Europe, in the not in the UK that I want to go. Like I said, I've been to Germany before, so I'm planning on going back and bringing the wife. Unfortunately, her passport doesn't allow her free access to the Schengen countries. like the U.S. passport does. Um, so I would have to try to sponsor her to. I don't know exactly if I. I don't know if I can sponsor her to come here since I'm not from Europe either. So I'll have to see how we can apply for her to get a visa when I plan on going to Europe. But I do want to go back there because, for one thing, I didn't go to the Netherlands last time when I was there. When I was still there in the military. So Australia's a great place in my opinion. Listen, I do plan on. It's not on my bucket list, but yeah, I do plan on going to Australia. Like I said, no, no diss to you, Cat, but nowhere in the Western world was on my travel list. Like everywhere I wanted to go to was as far from the Western world as possible. Like that's why I like the Far East because it's as far removed from the Western civilization as possible. Like, um, I just, you know, I'm a proud American, but I hate the government, and I hate the current trends and culture right now. So, and people here is think everything here is great, and the ones who think here everything here is great have never left the U.S. Like people who brag about, oh, I'm going to Manhattan, I'm going to Miami, I'm going to L.A. Well, before it burned down, but like so what? Like New York City, Miami, LA, they can't hold a candle to Paris or Tokyo or, I mean, so many other places. Uh, Castles I've been in the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Italy, Greece, Belgium, France, a few other places. Yeah, most of those are on my list. Like I said, I already been to Germany, but most of those are actually places I plan on going to. Hopefully this year. Like there's a specific place I'm planning on going very soon. And once I go, then I'm gonna tell you guys about it, and I'm gonna do some video content while I'm there too. So that's why I want to say, but um, somewhere in Asia, I plan on going very soon. So, Agnes said yes, you could apply for her to get her citizenship and her. I'm not talking about her citizenship. I was talking about her traveling to Europe. Americans have Americans. Our passport allows us free travel throughout the Schengen countries. Her passport doesn't. That's what I'm saying. To bring her with me to Europe, she would have to get a visa to go to those countries, whereas I don't. That's what I was talking about. So she was saying maybe I could sponsor her to do so, but I was saying I'm not sure how I can sponsor her for a country of which I'm not a citizen. As far as bringing her here, I don't want to force her to come here when all her family is over there. My family's here, but I'm trying to get away from them. There's nothing tethering me to the United States anymore. The last thing that tethered me here was probably school, but since a lot of since a lot of my education options I can do now from online, um, um, because specifically I wanted to finish a program at my alma mater, and aside from that, there was really nothing tethering me here. Especially the fact that I am the most happy the farthest I am from my family. So, so again, there's nothing tethering me here. I'd rather be there so she can be with her family than she come here and leave all her family behind to deal with my toxic family. No, that's I don't think that's a I don't think that's a good trade off. Then to live here, which is more expensive and more just nothing going for it here. Like the cost of living in that region of the world is so cheap, which is why so many retirees and veterans go live in those places. Alex says, "Do you know when I travel, I miss home so much?" That's yeah, that's you. I don't miss anything about here, not one thing. But you probably come from a better background than I do. So there's nothing about Baltimore that I miss when I'm there, other than Jamaican food. That is the only thing I miss when I'm there is Jamaican food and good pizza. Well, yeah, and good pizza. But there's places I found where I can get decent pizza. It's hard, but there's some places I can find decent pizza. Can't really find any Jamaican food, other than they do eat like the I can find places where they make beef patties, but outside of a beef patty, although there's a Jamaican restaurant in Tokyo and I think one in Bangkok or Pattaya now too, but no Jamaican food where my place is overseas, and no Philly cheesesteaks either. I'd actually contemplated opening up a Philly steak uh, a Philly steak shop, but I wouldn't want to run it myself. Like I would open it and then teach someone else how to make the food. But I did seriously contemplate that like 6 years ago, was opening up a Philly steak shop overseas. But yeah, I don't miss home whatsoever when I'm there. I miss there. Like I consider that my home that I miss when I'm back here. Like, um, but but I mean, you and I travel differently. Like, um, so when the person you care about is living somewhere else, that's where your attention is, as opposed to here. Here's nothing but headache and stress. So, oh, we're doing well, guys. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, we're things are going smoothly. So that someone when you when you send me a notification. Sorry, I had to reconnect. Um, I was just checking my notifications. We're doing well. Not a lot of um people in the chat. That's cool. Other than not be a lot, then everyone in there be like trolling. So, but anyway, like I said, I I never finished my answer to you, but like about LA. So like I said, yes, so part of it has to do with climate change. All of it has to do with incompetent political leaders. Um, a Not to mention a DEI LA fire department that has to factor into it as well. Um, and four, um, that part of the city was built on a place that has always had problems. So that predates climate change. Um, and then I'm of a mixed mind of it because you have people from the California prisons helping fighting the fires out there. And according to my friend, I don't know if this is true or not. He said that you even see some young people, minors, out there trying to help fight the fires. And personally, I don't care about any of the celebrities that lost their homes. I only care about the regular people. But my thing is, with all due respect to everyone out there in LA, those California inmates who are fighting the fire, they're basically slaves because, with the 14th Amendment, it slavery was outlawed except for like people who are incarcerated. People who are incarcerated can be put to late can still be forced to do unpaid labor. Of course, a lot of these people who are inmates are probably doing it for like time off this, for like they get like incremental times off their sentence for like doing this sort of work, um, and they may get paid like maybe $1 an hour or something like that, so, which which ain't shit. That's not even enough to buy a commissary. Like they can't even buy the little Debbie's. But no, seriously. Um, I, if, here's a harsh stance, and I know some people are gonna get me for it. If if those inmates who were out there helping put out the fires, if they aren't given early release parole, then let that whole fucking city burn for all I care. Because you got people doing unpaid labor fighting a fire due to the incompetent leadership of that city and of their state of Governor Slickback Newsom. So his incompetent leadership, like he's known like both like I can't put so much on the LA mayor, but the state of the state of California, I mean the governor of the state has known for a long time that LA was a fire. There's a huge fire hazard. The last time I was in LA back in 2018. What was it? 20. Because I forget whether I was in San Francisco last or LA last. Yeah, I think I was in San Francisco last. Sorry. So when I was in LA about 8 years ago, they had just had fires. Like I remember when they had those wildfires that swept across um, some areas of LA, including the highway. And like when I was taking I think it was like a Uber um, to Hollywood or whatever, and the driver was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "You see those burn marks?" He was like, "That's where all the fires were." Um, I was like, "Word?" He was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, he was telling me like the fires were, the fire was blazing across the highway, but people were actually driving through it because they'd rather risk going through that than trying to drive all the way across the other side of the city to get to work. I'm like, that's a hard, that's a hard choice. I'm not. I'm sorry, fuck a job. I'm not driving my car through an open blaze just to avoid, missing an hour of work. I'm not doing it. Mm-mm. But I could see like the burn marks across the highway. I saw where it swept across like different. I could see the burn marks where the fire has swept across different parts of the city along the highway. And to see this happen again, but this is much worse than what happened back in 2017. So, what was it, 2016, 2017, whatever time it was. Um, this is much worse. And it's like they know it's a powder keg. Like the not to, then even the Native Americans have piled on. The Native Americans, shout out to Moonlit Fern if he's out there watching. The Native Americans told them like, they've had measures for controlling um the greenery so it doesn't lead to fires like you have, but apparently people didn't want to do it because they were worried about like it causing like there to be smoke in the air. But I mean, we're talking about LA where it used to be completely smoggy anyway. Like LA used to be full of smog. So um but the I forgot what they call it when they do the the little the structured burnings to get rid of like shrubbery and all that sort of stuff that can easily catch fire. They didn't want to do sort of stuff like that sort of stuff. Like we have a whole department of the interior and different agencies that are supposed to, you know, manage these sort of things on both the federal and state level. So it, it's their fault for the most part. And again, I do feel for everyone who's losing their homes and people losing their lives out there. Some people are like living in their cars if they even have that. Um, but again, the state better do their their due diligence and make sure all inmates who are basically doing slave labor out there to fight these fires, they better give them early release parole, or I could care less. So that, sorry, that was the answer to a question from like 40 minutes ago. Um, oh, also, guess who else is helping fight? Is they have people they have people coming up from Mexico to help too. So I don't know. I think the people who are help fighting the problems caused by the mismanagement of of our affluent folks in California should be shown a lot of grace in the coming future. I'll say that. So I'll leave out. So I think that answers that question. But anyway, I don't see anybody talking. I don't know if I bored people to death and they moved on to other stuff, which is all good. I, you know, I enjoy just not having to deal with the trolls. But let me see something here. Yeah. So unless there's any other questions, I'm gonna call it a day. But yeah, again, guys, climate change is real. I all of all of to my friend Cat, but climate change is real, and this is one of the reasons people should have a bug out bag is because climate change has increased the frequencies of natural disasters. We're going to see more natural disasters, and we're going to see more global spreads of disease, as well as political instability, causing people to come across international borders as refugees and criminals. Food shortages, famines, stuff like that. So get yourself a bug out bag, and it's, you can buy like you can go to Walmart or order on Amazon these pre-made bug out bags, but they're pretty shitty to be honest. The ones that all those pre-made bug out bags are pretty shitty. Make your own. You can easily do so just here on YouTube. You can follow some guys who do. There are a bunch of people in the prepper community all over the YouTube community, and people in the prepper community go by different. There's different types of preppers. You have your bushcraft people, you have your survivalists, you have your your former military give showing you how to do um, assault assault bags and stuff like that. Um, you have you have your urban preppers. So you have all those people out there. So definitely people should get a bug out bag because we're going to see more natural disasters, and it doesn't matter where you live. Um, I guess did you see the interaction with Trump and Obama at the Carter funeral? Yeah, I I left I made a YouTube short about it too a few days ago because I was saying you that it's funny that Obama was criticizing black men, telling them, "Oh, if you don't vote for Harris, you're just misogynist because you're voting for someone who likes Hitler and all this sort of stuff." But he's sitting there all chummy, laughing with the guy, which is why I said people need to. This is why I said people shouldn't be partisan. Most, I think people in the black community, and not just people in the black community, I think everyone really, but definitely people in the black community should definitely be political independents. We should stop being Democrats. And I'm not saying they should be Republican either. I'm saying we should be independents and make them work for our vote because it's just too much political theater. They will tell you to hate your family and friends that vote Republican or vote other than Democrat, whether it's Libertarian, Independent, whatever. Like, but at the end of the day, these folks who are telling you to fight amongst your own family and friends, these same people are chummy. Behind closed doors, they all get along. I like yeah, obviously not all of them like each other, but look, I mean, then George, people keep talking about Obama and Trump. Did you also see Bush? Bush came by and did the little stomach push. He gave him the little stomach nod like that. Like they're all chummy behind closed doors. Like yes, they do bicker and especially around election time, but when it's not election time, these people get along behind closed doors. Like think about it. They all went to the same elite universities. Like Bush and Curry literally went to Yale at the same time and were in the same secret fraternity, the Skull and Bones, at the same time, and even had the same GPA. But people thought Bush was so much dumber than Curry. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He graduated from Yale with the same GPA that Curry did, and then went on to go to get an MBA at Harvard. You don't get an MBA at Harvard just because of your father's name. You have to actually make it in there. Like he is smart. He just wasn't very articulate, and he played upon that to make himself seem more to for similar reasons that Trump does. Like he'll often speak off the cuff to make himself seem more relatable to the average person with his Bushisms. But yeah, I mean they're all chummy. They go to the same elite universities. They all live in the same parts of the Washington Beltway. They send their kids to the same private schools, and they all attend these same exclusive events. So they're like all chummy at the end of the day. That's why I keep telling people that they look that that's why I kept telling people months ago they seem foolish sitting there fussing with friends and family over politics when the politicians themselves aren't really at each other's neck. Like I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger said this 2 years ago on his documentary on Netflix. He was like, when I was governor of California, he said often, being a Republican, he and his Democratic rivals were often like fighting with each other on, for the, when they're on TV. But he said when the cameras were turned off, he said they tended to get along pretty well, and that usually the stuff they were fighting about on camera, they had already worked out a deal 2 weeks ago, but they didn't want to put that out to the press just yet because they wanted their constituents to think that they were fighting on their behalf. But behind closed doors, he said they had already worked out a deal like 2 weeks ago. So it's a lot of political theater, and people. I've had people unfriend me for for sharing stuff about Trump on my Facebook, my personal Facebook. Um, um, People were friends and family, and it's like you guys are willing to crash out over a candidate who doesn't even give a shit about you. And I'm talking about and these friends and family were black. You crashing out over a chick who's not even black. Like I'm sorry, Harris isn't even a real black person. She's an Indian one. But anyway, you're willing to crash out over someone, and behind closed doors they get along. Like, so you'll listen to someone like Joy Reid or others tell you don't go to a Thanksgiving dinner. Meanwhile, these people are all hanging out together at funeral events and other sorts of private events that we aren't privy to. Uh, she said, what do you think about it?" So that answers that. Then Negative says, "Where do you go to bug out get bug out bag?" Like I said, to get a bug out bag, you can go to you can buy a fully made bug out bag from Amazon or Walmart. I'm just saying those are pretty shitty. It can be I would say it could be a starter bag and then you can customize it, but you can just buy it all yourself. Like you can simply either go look on here on YouTube, and like I said, there's like at least 1,000 people in the prepper community on YouTube, all sharing similar information. Like a lot of them differ because some of them specialize in bushcraft, some of them specialize in military tactics, some of them specialize in urban prepping, um, some of them specialize in some of the more out there stuff dealing with survivalism. But like they all basically tell you get like a good camping backpack. That's usually a good starting point. Um, like I said, it depends on the people. Some of them really like that tactical shit, but if you live in an urban environment, I don't. It does, to me, it doesn't make sense to get one of those big tactical bags with the Molly webbing all over it and the camouflage because you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Where in the urban environment, if you need to get out of a place in a hurry, you probably want to look more. You probably want to blend more into the crowd. The so-called gray man. I believe the gray man is bullshit too, but for different reasons. Because the whole idea of the gray man is you're supposed to blend in, but being that the whole sort of gray man has its own look, it doesn't make sense. Like the whole point of being a gray man is to blend in, but if the gray man has its own look to it, then obviously you're gonna stick out as someone trying to look uh, trying to look like uh, a regular person, but everything like you're wearing all black. You have like no, you look it's like you look conspicuous. Like the whole point of being of the gray man concept is to be inconspicuous, but because the gray man has become its own identity within the prepper community, it it looks very conspicuous. So like I said, my bug out bag is is a is a university backpack. It looks completely inconsequential, and that's how I want it. Like you don't see any bunch of Molly vet webbing on it. There's no camouflage. Like you wouldn't know it's tactical until you look inside. Like you see right here, I got like two levels of liner inside. Like there's this heavy duty trash bag liner, and then there's a wet bag, which is like a old Army Ranger technique to use double lining in this to protect your stuff from being wet. So Agnes says, we are mad with our friends and family and their buddies. Yeah, it's just silly. Like I lost a good friend who's from where I live in Maryland, and he lives in the same place overseas where I do. So it's kind of a shame that we had this falling out. Well, we didn't even have a falling out. He just quietly unfriended me. I'm like, okay. By the way, I would never said on my Facebook to vote for Trump or that I'm voting for Trump. I just shared things that I thought was funny of a political nature, but I never advocated nor told anybody how I'm voting. But whatever. Carlton Way says peace. J.A.C in chat. Facts. Thank you. What's up, man? Yeah. So that's why I thought the whole. Then the funny thing is Trump was sharing sharing a video of their alleged conversation where I've never seen a president that's such a so good at like at trolling people. Like he on his personal page, like he wasn't the one who created the video, but someone else created the video. Then he shared it on his Instagram, on his Facebook, and on his X. Excuse me, of the alleged conversation. And then there was another funny version by Ace Vane. If people don't know who Ace Vane is, he's hilarious. He's a internet, I guess you can call him an internet comedian. He basically does voiceovers of like cartoons and other sorts of stuff, and he just makes them say really ratchet stuff like Scooby Doo, and uh, he does a lot of Scooby Doo than some other characters as well. All like really old stuff. Then he did a voiceover for the for the Obama and Trump conversation at the Carter funeral, and that was hilarious. But yeah, Trump shares a lot of like hilarious stuff on his. Like you wouldn't think a president nor someone who's like 80 years old would share such sort of stuff, but eh, I guess whoever's running his page is sharing that stuff. I have a strong suspicion it's his son. I have a strong suspicion it's his son sharing that stuff, but um, I don't know. Anyway, it's 12:36, guys, so I'm about to go. Unless there's any other questions. It was a little late, so I'm not wasn't gonna be able to stay on that late. I mean that long. But pause. So, and I need to drink some water before I lose my voice. But I'm gonna try to be back on tomorrow earlier, and I'm gonna have a topic. Like I said, I'm gonna just do like lighthearted topics for the rest of the week because I haven't I haven't enjoyed being demonetized for the past 3.5 weeks of doing like discussions on geopolitics and politically incorrect stuff. Agnes says we had a good night with the troll. Eh, you mean without the troll, right? Yeah, we had a good night without the troll. Because like I said, the last time when he was on here, yeah, he like I said, he paid me. Like he gave me 2 super chats and 50 gems, but it was I'd have been happier without any of that payment to not deal with someone who was constantly spamming the chat room. But now I don't know how to deal with it. Like I still think that YouTube needs to give creators the ability to ban accounts though. But aside from that, um, I do enjoy. I do like the fact that they have some controls in the community moderation that I didn't notice until today. So I will be using those next time. Because luckily tonight is a good night, despite it being so late. So before I jinx that, let me get off on a good note. So thanks Agatha for helping me out. Thanks Kat. Um, Shout out to Carlton again. Um, but I'm out, guys. Have a good night and a good day for you guys overseas. Agnes says, okay, good night. Thank you. Take it easy. Y'all guys like my haircut? People keep thinking I'm bald, and it's weird. It's like, because when my hair gets thick, you can clearly see I'm not bald, but because I cut it close to the grain, they think I'm bald. It's just from the way I'm facing the camera, but I'm clearly not bald. I just like to keep it close. It's like I don't like doing it in my college days where I gotta keep my wave cap on all day. That I'm tired of that. I don't feel like walking around with my wave cap on all day, looking like Chicago from Poetic Justice in there, brushing it. He kept brushing his hair on that movie and didn't have not one wave throughout his whole head. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn from Spider Man was white and had waves. So it's funny in the new Spider Man movie, in the new Spider Man show on Disney Plus, he's gonna be black. It's like, well, the man has them sick ways for like 60 years. Oh well, but still, I don't like them race swapping him. But anyway, thank you, Agatha. She said so handsome. Thank you. But this is probably why I'm sometimes asking my cop. I'm like, no. But anyway, not that I would mind, but I'm not. All right, guys. Good night.